Arizona lawmakers pass controversial anti-gay bill. Arizona's legislature has passed a controversial bill that would allow business owners, as long as they assert their religious beliefs, to deny service to gay and lesbian customers. The bill, which the State House of Representatives passed by a 33-27 vote Thursday, now goes to Governor Jim Brewer, a Republican and one-time small business owner who vetoed similar legislation last year, but has expressed the right of business owners to deny service. "I think anybody that owns a business can choose who they work with or who they don't work with," Brewer told CNN in Washington on Friday. "But I don't know that needs to be statutory. In my life and in my businesses, if I don't want to do business or if I don't want to deal with a particular company or person or whatever, I'm not interested. That's America, that's freedom." As expected, the measure has drawn criticism from Democrats and business groups who say it would sanction discrimination and open the state to the risk of damaging litigation. On Friday, the LGBT group Wingspan staged a protest march to the governor's office that drew about 200 people. Some carried signs with messages God created us all equal and shame on Arizona. Tucson-based Rocco's Little Chicago Pizzeria posted a photo on its Facebook page of a sign with a message for state lawmakers: "We reserve the right to refuse service to Arizona legislators." "It's a ridiculous bill," pizzeria manager Evan Stevens told CNN on Friday. "Arizona has much bigger problems than allowing businesses to discriminate against people." In a statement, Anna Tover, the state Senate Democratic minority leader, said with the express consent of Republicans in its legislature, many Arizonans will find themselves members of a separate and unequal class under this law because of their sexual orientation. This bill may also open the door to discriminate based on race, familial status, religion, sex, national origin, age, or disability. The Greater Phoenix Economic Council, in a letter to Brewer on Friday, urged the governor to veto Senate Bill 1062, saying legislation will likely have profound negative effect on our business community for years to come. The legislation places businesses currently in Arizona, as well as those looking to locate here, in potentially damaging risk of litigation and costly needless legal disputes, Council President Barry Broom wrote, adding that 4 unidentified companies have vowed to locate elsewhere if the legislation is signed. He added, with major events approaching in the coming year, including Super Bowl XLIX, Arizona will be the center of the world stage. This legislation has the potential of subjecting the Super Bowl and major events surrounding it to the threat of boycott. On CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper, Arizona State Republican John Kavanagh, a Republican, said the bill would not allow hotel clerks or waiters, for instance, to turn away customers unless there was a substantial burden on their sincerely held religious beliefs. The bill is being pushed by the Center of Arizona Policy, a conservative group opposed to abortion and same-sex marriage. The group has justified the measure on grounds that the proposal protects people against increasingly activist federal courts. As we witness hostility towards people of faith grow like never before, we must take this opportunity to speak up for religious liberty, the group said on its website, asking people to contact Brewer and urge her to sign the bill. The grave news is the SB 1062 protect your right to live and work according to your faith. Kathy Harrold, The center's president told CNN on Friday the Arizona bill has a very simple premise. The Americans should be free to live and work according to their religious faith. It's simply about protecting religious liberty and nothing else. Harrold said the bill's opponents are showing unbelievable hostility toward religious beliefs. America still stands for the principle that religious beliefs matter and something in this country, that we have the right to freely exercise our religious beliefs, she said. But Robert Boston, a spokesman for the Washington-based Americans United for Separation of Church and State, told CNN the legislation would fling the door wide open to discrimination, not just against gay people, but basically to any class of individuals that a religious fundamentalist decides he or she doesn't want to deal with. He added, a woman who is pregnant out of wedlock, for example, well, out the door, you don't get served in my business. The Arizona legislation was passed as conservative states work to counter laws legalizing same-sex marriage. Arizona voters approved a ban on same-sex marriage as a state constitutional amendment in 2008. The American Civil Liberties Union of Arizona called the bill unnecessary and discriminatory. What today's bill does is allow private individuals and businesses to use religion to discriminate, sending a message that Arizona is intolerant and unwelcoming. The group said in a statement. Some Republican legislators have defended the bill as a First Amendment issue. Democrats dismiss it as an attack on gays and lesbians. It's a very bad day for Arizona. Republican Chad Campbell, a Phoenix Democrat who voted against the legislation, told CNN on Friday. He added, let there be no doubt about what this bill does. It's going to allow people to discriminate against the gay community in Arizona. It goes after unprotected classes of people, and we all know that the biggest unprotected class of people in the state is the LGBT community. If we were having this conversation in regard to African Americans or women, there will be outrage across the country right now. Next, U.S. student studying abroad found dead in Rome rail tunnel. Australian student who went missing while studying abroad in Italy was found dead inside a railroad tunnel in central Rome, police there said Saturday. Investigators are looking into the death of John Durkin, an economics major from Rye Beach, New Hampshire. The 21-year-old attended Bates College, but was one of 6 students from the main school taking part in the study abroad program in Rome through Trinity College in Connecticut. His school said both colleges are working with Italian authorities. It is with much sadness that the Durkin family informs you of the loss of John Nolan Durkin and thanks everyone for their support during the past few days, his family said in a statement released through Bates. He's been in Rome for a little more than a month as part of a semester-long program, according to Tom Durkin, a family spokesman. 2 days ago, he went to a bar with a group of friends and never returned, according to the spokesman, who said he left the bar alone. His father, Tim Durkin, is in Rome. Bates President Colton Spencer expressed deep sadness for Durkin's death and saying his college shares the tremendous grief of his family. The U.S. Embassy in Rome also passed along its condolences to the family. Bates economics professor Margaret Moore-Vezio recalled Durkin producing nuanced, balanced, and interesting work on China's economic reform while in her class last fall, adding that all his work was very strong. The junior was also a linebacker on his college football team. His head coach, Mark Harriman, recalled Zhang's commitment to excellence in all phases of his life as inspirational to the other members of the squad and a major factor in the team's success over the past 3 years. We will remember the fortitude and character that Zhang displays on a daily basis and attempt to emulate those standards, Harriman added. Next, who's who in Ukraine unrest. As development continues to unfold rapidly in Ukraine, the key players in the unrest are making moves. Here are brief profiles to explain who's who in the crisis. President Yanukovych remains defiant in the face of calls for him to resign, despite a unanimous parliamentary vote to remove him from office. It's not clear if the vote carries any legal weight. In a televised statement from the eastern city of Kharkiv, he said, "I'm not trying to leave the country. I'm not trying to resign. I'm the elected president." Earlier, his absence from the capital, where his living quarters were emptied out, prompted rumors he might stand down or quit the country. Yanukovych was elected president in 2010. The wave of unrest in Ukraine began in November, when Yanukovych scrapped a European Union trade deal and turned toward Russia. Opposition hit the street about Yanukovych backpedaling from the trade pact. The move and Russia's offer the following month to buy $15 billion in Ukrainian debt and slash the price Kiev paid for its gas played into the storyline of Ukraine being a proxy for battles between Russia and the West. Another factor in Yanukovych's decision not to sign the deal is likely to have been the EU's demands that he release from jail former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko, his political opponent. The Orange Revolution that swept then Prime Minister Yanukovych out in 2004 also brought Tymoshenko to power. Leading opposition leader Tymoshenko, 53, has been released from prison in Kharkiv, a spokeswoman for her fatherland party said. News of her release, nearly 2.5 years after she was jailed, came only hours after Ukraine's parliament passed a resolution calling for her freedom. Tymoshenko, who is the former prime minister, lost the 2010 presidential election to Viktor Yanukovych. The following year, she was sentenced to 7 years in prison after being convicted of abuse of authority over a natural gas deal negotiated with Russia in 2009. She repeatedly called the trial a farce. The United States and Europe see the punishment as politically motivated. In 2012, after Tymoshenko was allegedly beaten unconscious by guards, she went on a hunger strike to draw attention to violence and lack of rights in the country. She is known as a hero of the country's 2004 revolution. Another opposition leader is former world-class boxer Klitschko. He has been the biggest and most well-known opposition figure during the crisis. In a sign of his influence, it was Klitschko who went to Yanukovych's office for negotiation talks. Klitschko has the Ukrainian Democratic Alliance for Reforms party. The embattled president offered Klitschko the post of deputy prime minister on humanitarian issues, which Klitschko turned down. Yatsenyuk, 39, has led the opposition-backed China or Fatherland party to which jailed former Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko belongs since December 2012. He can claim experience in government, having been chairman of Ukraine's parliament, the Verkhovna Rada, from 2007 to 2008, according to the website of his foundation, Open Ukraine. Before that, he served as Ukraine's foreign minister in 2007 and as its economy minister from 2005 to 2006. Speaking with CNN's Christian Amanpour in December before the protests escalated into lethal confrontation, Yatsenyuk urged Yanukovych to compromise and outline his own vision for reform. Ukraine leaders need to deliver changes, he said, something the corrupted government and corrupted president have not done. People still believe in their future, in their European future, he said. I believe that we will definitely reach our target, a prosperous and pro-European country. He turned down Yanukovych's offer of the post of prime minister in January. Yanukovych has headed the nationalist, far-right opposition party Svoboda, or Freedom, for the past decade. According to the biography on his party website, his early views were shaped by the surveillance under which the Soviet Security Service, the KGB, kept his family, and his grandfather's oppression under Stalin. He studied medicine at college while also completing his military service. He got involved in politics while a student and joined the Svoboda Party in 1991. Yanukovych was first elected to a local council position in 1994, aged 25, and was elected to the parliament 4 years later. He became head of the party in 2004 when it changed its name from the Social National Party of Ukraine to Svoboda. Concerns have been raised in some quarters about the extremist views allegedly held by some members of the party. But in an interview with the New York Times in 2012, Yanukovych denied that Svoboda was anti-Semitic, xenophobic, anti-Russian, or anti-European. Svoboda is simply and only a pro-Ukrainian party, and that's it, he is quoted as saying. Next, Maria von Trapp, last of famous singing siblings, dies at 99. Maria von Trapp, the last of singing children immortalized in the movie musical The Sound of Music, died at her Weimar home of natural causes. Her half-brother told CNN on Saturday. The native of Austria was 99 and lived in Stowe. She died Tuesday. Maria von Trapp was the third oldest child of Agathe Whitehead and Captain Georg von Trapp. The couple had 7 children: Rupert, Agathe, Maria, Werner, Hedwig, Johanna, and Martina. Georg von Trapp's second wife, Maria Kaschera von Trapp, wrote a book titled The Story of the Trapp Family Singers, which sparked 2 German mad movies and The Sound of Music. In 1959, the play The Sound of Music opened on Broadway. Julie Andrews, in arguably her most famous role, played the part of Georg's wife Maria in the 1965 film. Christopher Plummer played Baron von Trapp. The movie won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Johannes, the youngest son of Maria and Georg von Trapp, issued a statement following his sister's passing. Thank you for your thoughts. Maria had a wonderful life, and while we still miss her, the memories of her will live on, Johannes wrote. Maria von Trapp later in life served as a lay missionary in Papua New Guinea. She never married. Both of Maria's parents were talented musicians. Agathe played the violin and the piano, while her father played the violin, accordion, and mandolin. Sometimes our house must have sounded like a musical conservatory. You could hear us practice piano, violin, guitar, cello, clarinet, accordion, and later recorders. We would gather in the evenings to play Viennese folk songs on our instrument, with father leading on the violin. Maria wrote in her autobiography, found on Trapp Family Lodge's website. Agathe von Trapp died of scarlet fever in 1922. Maria also suffered from the disease and needed to be tutored at home as a result. The teacher Maria would eventually marry Georg in 1927. The couple would go on to have 3 more children: Rosemary, Eleanor, and Johannes. The Trapps fled Nazi-occupied Austria in 1938 and moved to the United States. The Trapp family, after traveling the world, purchased a 27-room family home in Stove in 1950. 30 years later, the building was destroyed in a fire, then rebuilt into the Trapp Family Lodge. The property is still owned and operated by remaining members of the Trapp family, according to the lodge's website. The elder Maria von Trapp died in 1987. Next, she survived a standoff with a gunman. Could you? Antoinette's knees tremble as she stares at the black barrel of an AK-47. Her hand shakes so much she can't hold the pencil. Facing her, a stocky young man dressed in black points the assault rifle at her. "This is not a joke," the man shouts at Tuff. "I need you to understand this is not a joke. I'm here, this is real. We are going to die today." Tuff, a school bookkeeper, isn't supposed to be at work today. She's filling in for the front office receptionist as a favor. Now she's the only one standing between the gunman and 800 children at an elementary school just outside Atlanta. Tuff began her day by reading Psalm 23. "Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." As she watches the gunman raise his rifle to fire, Tuff realizes she is no longer just sitting in a school. She is in the valley of death. Tuff was too terrified to speak when the gunman burst into the school. But what she said during the standoff that followed was credited with saving hundreds of lives. Tuff recounts the standoff in her new book, Prepared for Purpose, in which she attributes her actions to God. Yet Tuff's story can also be read as a survival guide for anyone who wonders what to do if they are suddenly facing someone with a gun. We ask survival experts to analyze Tuff's actions, and they're free from 3 subtle moments in which her deft maneuvering increased her chances for survival. To Tuff, these actions seem insignificant at the time, but they went beyond her celebrity ability to build empathy with the gunman by disclosing her personal struggles. Tuff instinctively took a series of actions that professionals who deal with violence take years to master, experts said. She had a unique, deep, and profound skill set that she was able to bring to the situation, says Chris Wider, a 30-year veteran of the martial art and author of How to Win a Fight, a guide to avoiding and surviving violence. She played her part perfectly. Tuff says today that she didn't have time to think. She just reacted. But talk to her and it's easy to see why she connected with the gunman. She's a jovial, unpretentious woman with a husky laugh. After 5 minutes, You feel like you're talking to your favorite aunt. She's now touring the country, giving inspirational speeches. I just try to help people with their purpose, Tuff says. What do you do when God calls your number? Are you ready? Here are the 3 moments that show why Tuff was ready. Moment 1. She changed the channel. Tuff watches as a gunman lowers the rifle and paces across the front office. He is a stocky man in his 20s with brown, cropped hair and a nose that looks like it's been broken. He is breathing heavily as he turns to Tuff and bellows. Call 911 and call a news station. Tell them I'm going to start shooting. Tuff's shaking hand grips the phone as she dials 911. She quickly complies with everything the gunman asks, addressing him as Sir as she relays his messages to the dispatcher. The minutes drag on, and the gunman shouts threats and waves his rifle at Tuff. Tuff takes a risk. She asks the gunman an odd question. Can I go to the bathroom? The gunman stops pacing. He turns in her direction. The angry expression on his face evaporates. Tuff's odd question changed the channel. Wilder says, he and other survival experts say gunmen often whip themselves into a state of rage before they shoot people. They are literally no longer thinking straight. The leader brain, or the brain's lower functions, are in control. They often refuse to make eye contact with their victims and back up when they are about to shoot. Tuff noticed that the gunman refused to make eye contact with her. But wary when an angry gunman refuses to look at you, says Lawrence Gonzalez, author of Deep Survival, a book that examines why some people are more resilient facing certain life-threatening situations. He's got himself into a fit of rage and he's trying to protect his emotional state. Gonzalez says of Tuff's gunman, he knows it's a very fragile state. If he doesn't make eye contact, he can keep the emotional state encapsulated. A potential victim can sometimes break that murderous mood with an out-of-the-blue question that forces a gunman to think. The guy is locked in and he's going to continue on his path unless there's something that changes the channel. Reader says of the gunman Tuff-faced. Reader saw another woman skillfully execute Tuff's maneuver in a less lethal situation. Reader was riding a bus one day when he saw an enraged man hop on board. The man appeared to be high. His jacket was bloody, and it looked like he wanted to hurt someone. He started messing with passengers, trying to start a fight, when he came upon a young woman eating pretzels. As he approached the woman, she did something that stopped him. "You want a pretzel?" she asked. The man halted, confused, and then muttered, "Yes." "Open your mouth," the woman said. He did as commanded. The woman plopped a pretzel in the man's mouth. End of story. The man didn't bother anyone else because she had changed his channel or shifted his thought patterns. Tuff threw a pretzel question at the gunman, but at the time she thought she made a terrible mistake. It was almost ridiculous that in the middle of a violent standoff, I asked the gunman if I could go to the bathroom. Tuff wrote in Prepared for a Purpose, which was co-written by Alex. If I had heard someone else did that, I might have thought, how dumb can you be? But Taft was actually being clever, Reader says. Changing the mood can work in all sorts of potentially violent situations. Say you're facing a gunman who wants to rob you, or worse, someone who is preparing to shoot you, and your only chance might be to take a run for safety. Change the channel with an out of the blue question like, what time is it? Or a nonsensical question like, what was Gandhi's batting average? A question that shifts the gunman's thinking may save your life, Reader says. Reader says words are weapons, and he keeps a mental list of nonsensical questions. Where did you buy that shirt? Did you get that surgery? That he can fire off at a moment's notice. All my go-to questions are all chambered, Reader says. Moment 2. She anchored herself. Taft's legs wobble as she rises to go to the bathroom, but before she can take another step, an awful thought comes to her. If I go to the bathroom, the gunman might follow and I will inadvertently lead him to the classroom where the children are hiding. But now Taft knows the whole school has been warned over the school intercom that there is an intruder in the building. The teachers are keeping the children hidden in the classrooms. Taft watches as the gunman takes a plastic chair from the office and uses it to prop open the school's main door. He raises his rifle and begins shooting at police, who by now have gathered outside. Glass shatter and bullet casings scatter across the office, but for some reason, a blanket of calm settles over Taft. She watches the gunman fire away, but didn't move from her seat. Taft takes another chance.